And I always say, like, this whole business of hospitality and food and beverage, it's everyone's in the business of creating memorable experiences. Like that's it. That's it.
That's it.
You want someone to look at the bottle, remember it. You want someone to taste the juice and go,
yeah, right.
Like
stop, think.
Correct.
Wow, this is new.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah.
Why is it new? Why is it different?
Yeah.
So that's why even with the music, so we say to people, so when you are smelling and tasting, what comes to you? So we take away that whole formatted industry experience and say it's your experience, it's your engagement. Make it work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The business of wine
in South Africa.
In South Africa.
Got it.
Has got some fundamental flaws. Let me elaborate. So, when you look at basically the construct of the industry, it is dominated obviously by large-scale producers of the fruit.
Yeah.
The growing of the vines, the land ownership. And effectively the historical advantage that won't change in a short while.
Yeah.
Where are they?
How are you?
How are you, Gabriel?
Ziggy.
Pleasure to meet you.
So,
cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Shout out LinkedIn.
Great.
Love it.
Thank you.
You can literally
that I never instruct people about wine, but please, when you serve bubbles, not warmer than 3 degrees. Anything warmer than that, you just lose the. So a lot of people generally don't pay attention to the temperature. And then one, it doesn't taste as good as it is, and two, it goes straight to you. Because it's already from minutes. We don't use a
So Ziggy and I came together to start Velisa with a shared vision for wanting to have an elevated African wine brand, wanting to celebrate Indigenous culture and heritage, also with a focus on sustainability and social responsibility. So I'll give you the short version, but I came to South Africa for the first time 5 years ago. Fell in love with the vineyards and the mountains as one does. Did not fall in love with the racial dynamics, particularly as felt in the winelands, which are still very much a stronghold of colonial essence. And I left that trip having my own experiences of being Black here and trying to navigate beautiful wines, but with a checkered history, and called my mom and said, I love it here so much. It's so beautiful, but I'm gonna come back here and have a vineyard someday and do things differently. I thought that was something that I would do in my 50s after I was a real adult and had made money, blah, blah, blah. COVID came, turned my life upside down like it did for so many other people, and I started reevaluating, and the timeline got shifted upwards. The stars aligned for Ziggy and I to meet through a mutual friend I went to business school with. He had his own vision of wanting to do something transformative and impactful in the winelands in South Africa. And we came together and Velisa was born. So Velisa in Xhosa means to produce or to make appear, which I think is very resonant with our vision for what we want to accomplish through this brand, not only in South Africa, but also in the US, which will be our primary export target, given that's where I'm from. And there's also a dire need for wines that are appealing and approachable to young people, people of color who have been ignored by the wine industry in the US, even though it's the biggest wine market in the world. And we're really excited to be here with all of you. It's a very special moment to see so many people who look like us in wine in this country. And we're excited for you all to be part of the beginning of what will be a long, fruitful, and impactful journey for us with Velisa.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Thank you for sharing this moment with us. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Killer
Cheers.
King.
Cheers. Cheers.
I've had this one.
Cheers. Cheers.
So how I came across wine was in grade 9 in high school. We had a project about the role of microorganisms. And so there was beer brewing, there was cheese making, there was wine making, and there was, what else? Cheese, beer, yogurt, and wine. And so being from a Christian household, so my parents are like hardcore Christians. They never allowed us to drink any alcohol. And then I thought, no, this is my grand opportunity, like, to do this experiment on wine, to drink some alcohol, you know, me and my siblings. So then I then went to Google and researched about winemaking. There wasn't much information. It spoke about like maturation and yeast aging and different like varietals. And as a 16-year-old who had no wine background, I didn't know what that was, you know. But basically what I gathered was, what it said was, you need grapes because on the skin of the grape, there's natural yeast and you start fermenting. So I took like a mayonnaise jar, cotton Blackwell, the glass jar, and then I crushed it. They said I must crush the grapes and just make sure that the skins are macerated in the juice and they'll start fermenting naturally. And I did exactly that. So as part of my experiment, I had to now go back to this jar to do my observations, to see like what was happening on day 1, on day 2, and day 3. And on day 3, when I went to this cupboard in my mother's kitchen to pull out this jar, as I pulled it out, I was so amazed. Like, it started fermenting. There was like little like small bubbles, and there was like a mist on top. And I really found this to be very like intriguing. And I thought to myself, I really want to pursue this. I told my parents, they said no. I think this is basically based on like, you know, in her community where she grew up, and the stigma that's attached to alcohol and what it did to the community. She wasn't very forthcoming to that, you know.
Yeah, you can understand.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think in the years of me being in the industry, and it's so interesting that, you know, we drink wine together. And, you know, and we've both learned that it's not what alcohol does, you know, it's what it can do when it is not consumed responsibly. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just so I think a lot needs to go into, I think you spoke about sustainability and also responsibility around consumption, you know, which is a big thing. I think people need to be taught about, you know, consuming alcohol, and so that they can make informed decisions when they want to drink. Correct. You know. So it's really a big thing. So that's how I got into the world of winemaking. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers. Okay, so in your glasses is the 3/4 red blend. This is actually a new addition to our portfolio. Initially when I started with a Syrah, and then I thought, Aishem, he's very lonely. He needs a brother and a sister. And that's when I brought along the red blend and the rosé. So this is a blend of Grenache, Syrah, and Cinsault, predominantly Syrah based. So the idea with 3/4, I love Syrah a lot. I love what it is. I love what it can be. I love how beautiful and how complex and how sexy it is, and with all the spice and all these elements. And so basically the idea with 3/4, we are a Syrah producer. So very niche, very focused. And we just work with Syrah and other own varietals, basically.
Right.
So this is a predominantly Syrah based, and then we do a bit of Grenache and Cinsault just to add a bit more accessibility and a little bit of more elegance from the Cinsault, but it's meant to be enjoyed. So the Syrah component is from the Polka Dry Hills. It's a very unique site. It's planted on granite soils, and it's got this coastal influence. Literally, these hills overlook like the sea of False Bay, and this breeze comes in, and literally a combination of all of that just makes this unique wine. So the Syrah I used to work with usually was quite robust and rich, but this is quite different. It's very elegant, very light, but with a lot of elegance and nuance, with white spice and fruit on it. So just to manage expectations, it's not going to be like a rich red blend, you know. It's quite light, very refreshing, very accessible, and yeah, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You think? What do you think? You may.
Here's the entry point on content.
I think mine is actually too rare on certain parts.
One of his getting took me to a farm.
No, for someone who's like just starting to
No.
Okay, everybody. You've got Say Less in your glass. We named it Say Less because it's a South African Chenin. And we know there's not much to say about South African Chenin. The unique thing with the Chenin is that it's made 100% Paarl fruit, single vineyard, but a skin contact, and then stainless steel, no barrel aging at all. Have a taste, and really for me, it's about you seeing the difference and the variance of South African Chenin between the Velisa brand and then this one. Our audience, you can see with our branding, really aimed at the new wine drinker, a young wine drinker that's stepping up. We are a natural ferment, low intervention, but we don't call ourselves natural wine. We're just a great wine to be drunk, low alcohol volume, and really to be enjoyed for hot summer days. Salud.
Salud.
Cheers.
It's so right.
Love it.
Say yes, man. You know. You can't.
Okay, everybody, so now we're moving on to our reds. So this is another offering from Nice. This we call Leave It With Me. It's a chillable red.
Leave it with me.
It's a beautiful blend. Really, the sensor gives us the ability to chill it, which is amazing. So, you know, people often talk about room temperature, but we all know South African room temperature is way higher than Europe. So with this chillable red is really around easy, cool drinking times, being able to, being accessible, and really sort of, you know, chillable red is a big category in the US, but it's still a burgeoning, when you tell people chillable reds here, they still, outside of winemakers, people don't think about reds as being chillable. So there's a great opportunity for us locally to exploit the category.
I just want to say thank you to everyone that actually arrived here with Raymond and friends here. We need to do more of this. You know, also for us as children of farm workers that has a piece of land here in Franschhoek. And it's a legacy that we want to put down here. You know, a very important thing that Paul also said to me one day, when we approached government to ask for funding, and they rejected us. He said to me, Rod, government must find us in front. We need to move. And the thing what he also said to me is, he said, Rod, if we fail, me and you, with this, we're going to fail a lot of people that look like me and you. True. You go up here into the restaurants, you go into B&Bs, you go into hotels, and when you have guests that arrives here at the farm, we ask them, how did you know about this place? They said, no. The lady that cleaned my house say I need to go down to Klein Goederust. The security guard at the gate say I need to go to Klein. They only know that there's people of color here, but they don't know really Rod and Paul. That's the thing. Yeah. So that's for us a big thing. And you know also the history also of Franschhoek. Franschhoek was one of the places where black people were not allowed to own land. So here we've got pieces. Raymond's got a piece also of land here in Franschhoek. So big up to our brothers that came actually in here into this valley. But you know the story about Nomaroma, that was a farm worker for 30 years at Baxberg. I myself as a youngster had the honor to work with her also in the wine cellar. And here we are in Franschhoek, her legacy. And we also want to say, you know, we all know about the DOP system that was part. We lived, our parents and grandparents lived that DOP system. We saw it. And there was a time when we really hated to be on farms. And even Mamzi, Nomaroma said to me and Paul, she said, Rod and Paul, you guys have really bought now a farm. She think that the ancestors are really telling about this because she never thought that we would go back to that. But the thing is that now we own a farm. And the thing is that when Paul told me 2019 when we bought the property here, he said, Rod, let's not forget where we come from. Let's not do the same things what the guys did to your mother, my mother, grandparents or whatever. Let's not do that to our workers. Then we would have been exactly the same like those guys. So, and that's what we need to change, really. And we came in here with an open mindset about that.